So this is called PR and Membership Building for Rural Clubs Edition. And we'll be putting this on the YouTube channel, the District 64 YouTube channel.
Okay.
Next screen.
Excellent.
You can find a copy of this presentation at www.justholler.com/ruralpr. What I do for a lot of presentations is I park them somewhere. So I sent you a link in the chat window. And if you copy this, it's the same thing. And what's at that site, it looks like this. I put the PDF of this presentation. I put a sample media release in case you guys want to send some kind of media out, some little item to the media. And then this other thing here was ideas. It's about 2 pages of different ideas for membership building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it somewhere, so I just stuck it there. So this is kind of a little resource page for everyone. Okay, now I got to go click back here. So public relations, I went online to see what Toastmasters defined it as, and they said public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their public. By the time I got through the first sentence, I didn't understand what they meant. So really, it's just how to get public attention without excessive cost. And if I had time to write it here, I'd have put or free. So what is PR and membership building? How does membership building and PR all fit together? So typically when I give these presentations, I say it's a 3-step process. I just named the 3 steps differently, but one is that a club has what people want. You have a product that people want to take part in. The club has to bring in guests. That's the whole idea about building a membership. And then the club has to meet expectations and convert those guests into members. So that's that 3 steps. And throughout this presentation, I'll talk about the 3 steps. So that first step is, do you have what people want? And it's not a yard sale. We're talking about a professional image where you have a meeting that people really want to join. So to ensure they want to join, the club meetings have to be positive, enthusiastic. They have to start and end on time. A lot of people, if they go there and the meeting doesn't run the way they thought it should, it's kind of uncomfortable. You want to have quality club meetings. You can have a quality club meeting with 3 people, 4 people, 10 people, and you can have a terrible club meeting with 2 people, 3 people, 10 people. But you want to have quality club meetings. The members have to have fun. It's good to follow an agenda, and it should be well organized so that your guests know what's going on. Always throw in here how to analyze how your club is doing, because again, this is all about making sure you have a product they want. So one of the things is area director visits. And whenever I'm doing these, I say I'm talking to rural, so you may not always see your area directors. They have something called Moments of Truth that you can, it's an education session that takes, it's supposed to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a little tough, but you could use that. There's also club officer training where you join other club officers and you get to talk to them about how they're doing, or you could visit other clubs to see what, compare yours to theirs. However, this year I found something called a member interest survey item number 403. And it's a self-assessment for the club, and I used it at my club. I only used the front page, but I'm going to talk about both sides. It gives the member goals and interests that they have, how they rate the meeting, and suggestions for improvement. I found this really quick and simple. The members just filled it out during the meeting and handed it back in at the end of the meeting. So it looks like this. The first page at the top looks like this. It's a PDF you can fill out. You just put the member's name. They list 2 goals they want to accomplish and 2 objectives they want to accomplish. And I thought, hey, this is great for the club success plan because you're asking those questions anyway. Down below, the member lists their interests and whether they have high interest, some interest, or no interest. So there's things like critical thinking skills, club involvement outside the club and in the district. Again, really, really good for your distinguished club program, or when an area director comes and visits, they ask, are there people that want to do these things? And we were able to identify some in our club. And the back page is this one. It says club quality characteristics. Rate how satisfied you are with how the club is doing at these things. Do you feel it's a welcoming club? Is there a friendly, relaxed atmosphere? Is it positive, supportive? Organized meetings, supportive club leaders. So you get from the members how they feel about this. And at the bottom, they say, what do you like most about your club? What do you like least? What recommendations for improvements can you provide? Is there anything specific you'd like to learn about? So this is kind of like a condensed version of the moments of truth. So that is this one-page form. It's called Member Interest Survey, item number 403. So then it's just about, does the club have what people want? You want to ensure the club is healthy. You want to retain members. And a lot of this sometimes is even about closing the back door. And by that, I mean members that are leaving. So if you go to Toastmasters International, they have nice reports. And I showed here where you go to resources, the statistics hub. One of the things it shows here is how many people are using Pathways. They've got a lot of member surveys you can look at. But I want to look at the one on the left. It's called the fact sheet. And those big numbers, 46.4% of members leave. And each year they always challenge us to get 4 new members and then 4 more new members. Because typically if you have 20, you'll lose 8. And you're trying to reduce the amount of members that leave. Because trying to get new ones is hard, but it's easier to keep the ones you have. And that's just one tool, I guess. So now we're back to this PR work. Whose job is it? Some people think it's the VP of Public Relations, but really it's every member's job. And I always say, don't reinvent the wheel. Toastmasters has help. They've been around for a long time. So they have something called Membership Growth Manual, and you can download it for free. It's an intense program, but it covers moments of truth that I talked about, public relations, marketing, and member satisfaction to grow the club. And you can download it for free, and it's a good resource. Another item is this educational. It's called Finding New Members for Your Club, and it's part of the Successful Club series. And you can have any member presented. It's a canned PowerPoint. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and this one you can download for free. And I actually show you page 5 from that educational. And they say when you're trying to recruit new members, in that box I have, talk to friends, relatives, and coworkers, wear a Toastmasters membership pin every day, and display the Toastmaster magazine. So those are their top ones for trying to promote Toastmasters. So I showed some pins at the bottom there. So where do you find those guests? Because that's what we're talking about. We want to get more members. Where do we find the guests? So we invite former members to experience Pathways. So that's something you can leverage right now, whether you like Pathways or not. And Laverne would attest to this over and often there that, you know, once you learn how to use Pathways, that's something you can encourage some of those older members to come back and try. If you're looking for your past member list, you can find it on Club Central. They have a list. And if you have a free Toast Host website where you've been collecting member names and emails, there should be a list there. The other thing is you can engage all members in a contest. You may not know how to do that, but Toastmasters has a brochure for that in item 1620. So they actually have some resources out there for you. You can create a list of prospects, and that could be family, business, organization. So you just sit down one evening, I like to say over a glass of wine, and you brainstorm, where can we find some people that would want to join Toastmasters? And it could be businesses. We had a couple places are trying the Chamber of Commerce, and you'll see some of that later on here as well. Then you want to develop brochures. Toastmasters has quite a few brochures you could use. They brought one out here that is a PDF that's editable, and you can actually put your club contact information. I thought that was kind of nice. The other thing is you can have invitation cards. I have some for my club. Where am I? They're just a little business card that I hand out, and I'll show you some here. And then there's the elevator speech, and I'll talk more about that. So these are the invitation cards. You can find templates online, and the idea is you see someone, you think they could make use of Toastmasters, you could always say, hey, here's a card, come to my club. Mine here, it just says you're a guest of Lloyd. It tells you where the club meeting is, the time, and where the room is. So I just had some examples here I found online, different ones. Some look a little more professional than that one of mine, but as long as you have something that you can invite them to your meetings, eh? Then I talked about the elevator speech, and that's where when someone says, well, what do you do at Toastmasters? You should have an answer. I was in a restaurant a couple of years ago, and there was 3 of us Toastmasters sitting there, and we were talking to the waitress, and she said, so what do you guys do at Toastmasters? And all 3 of us just sat there, and it was mostly, well, who's going to answer and what kind of answer they're going to give. But always have this line: we help people find their voice so that they can speak with confidence in any situation. And Dorian Gerard gave us that one. I like that. I put it on our website. It gets the conversation going, and then we all practice table topics, and you just go from there. But at least you have a start. We help people find their voice so they can speak with confidence. And then you get into the leadership and the confidence with speaking and all of those things after. So then we have to talk about, well, your marketing, where do you market? So one of the places is local newspapers, stories, local organizations. You can put up posters. You may have a welcome wagon. Maybe your realtors might take a little brochure or a flyer. The Chamber of Commerce might let you advertise. I've seen examples of that. These days, we're seeing social media postings. In the city here, I know they're using Meetup, which works well in the city, but this is more of a rural-based thing. So if you're getting onto your social media for your community, most of the communities have a social media site, and you can try to advertise in there. You could have an internal club guest contest, and I talked about you can get that brochure for that. What I did one year is I had a contest, and I said, whoever brings the most guests, I'll go out to their place and cook a gourmet meal. And when they won, I went out to their place and cooked them. It was some kind of a, well, it was a pork tenderloin with a maple something. I took French cooking classes, so I thought it'd be kind of neat. And it was a really fun evening, and we had a great time. So the other thing is the word of mouth invite is how you get people. So that could be that invitation card I was showing, that little invitation card where you see someone and you give them the card. Speechcraft, I think a lot of you have done those already, but you run a Speechcraft and advertise it in a town. You charge a little bit of money for it. You maybe get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people out, and you teach them for 8 weeks, and then hopefully they join Toastmasters. The other thing is a website, making sure you have a website and it's advertised on Google so that when people are searching, we seem to have gotten a lot of people at our club this year from the website. It's kind of surprised me. But and then that last one is having a spark plug. So that's usually somebody in the club that is a real go-getter and can get out there and get people, wind them up, give them some resources and information, and let them go. So I gave some examples. I want to give some examples of what people are doing. You guys remember this one? This is Cheryl. And this was Steinbach Online. They had done a story. So how do you get in newspapers? So to get in newspapers, you have to send little stories to them. This one was Toastmasters Encourage Confidence and Leadership. So you send, and I put on that website a sample media item that you could send out like that. I don't always tend to do that. If you're in a small community, you probably know the editor and you could just email them something. But news stories, they won't always publish, but they will sometimes. This one they published. It could be in newspapers, newsletters. This was another one down at Winkler last year. Toastmasters looks to attract new members. So when we did that Toastmasters Week, the proclamation for Toastmasters Week, these guys in Winkler, they got on 2 different radio programs and they got some of this free advertising. The only downside is they're using the old banner. And as the public relations manager, I'm supposed to frown on that, but who cares? They got out there and they got some publicity, eh? So that was an article that they had done. This one here is, oh, the Dauphin Herald. So Speak Up Parkland Club 2991 starts a new season of Toastmasters at Assiniboine College. Group meets each Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. So well done out there. So you're getting that advertise. You didn't pay for that, Laverne, did you?
Nope, nope. But I used Rodney's name because he's well known around here, so I figured the name would
I burned some political capital that evening, but well worth it.
Right on. Well, do what you have to.
That's right.
But it's a good example.
Yep.
The other example was the Selkirk Record. They came out and did a story when Selkirk had their, well, it wasn't their 95th anniversary. It was Toastmasters' 95th anniversary. It was Selkirk's 40th, maybe? Where does it say here? Yeah. Well, they were doing an anniversary celebration anyway. So they came out and actually did a story. We got a couple stories of them, so that was really nice. So that helps. But that's where you're getting, they like to do a little story. This is kind of a good news story, so they did that one. Oh, brand new this year, if you're looking for people, Rotary and Toastmasters team up. So they say you should try and go out. Rotary may invite you to meetings, and you can invite Rotary to meetings. And you know what? There's a Rotary Club near you. Rotary District 5550 is in Brandon, Dauphin, Dryden, Flin Flon, Gimli, Kenora, Neboa, Portage, Sioux Lookout, Steinbach, Swan River, and Winnipeg. I think the only one missing there is Swan River. We don't have one. But there's nothing wrong with sending a little invite to the Rotary Club, send them a nice letter. In fact, Toastmasters sent out a form letter that you could use to send to them. I don't have a copy of it, but if you go to Toastmasters, you can probably find it. Google Toastmasters Rotary invite, I guess. So that's something new, and you know, why not make use of it? So now once your guest gets to the meeting, so you manage you're running a good meeting, a good quality meeting, you have agendas, you have people there, you've got the guests coming, now you want to meet the guests' expectations. So the guests have to be greeted warmly. Usually that's a handshake. These days we can't do that, but usually it's a nice handshake, talk to them, welcome, have them fill out the guest book, give them a guest package. It's nice to have a guest package that has something about your club, about your meetings. We give one that tells them about the agenda, what's happening on the agenda, so they know what's going on. And we also have the membership form in there. Then you want them to sit with a member guide, someone that can tell them about the meeting, what's going on, a nice friendly face where they can ask, well, what's happening here? How's this going? And just so they know how the meeting's going. They're made to feel welcome. Ask them if they want to participate. It's always good to ask them before the meeting, not to put them on the spot during the meeting. If you could ask it beforehand, if somebody has that insight, just, oh, would you like to participate? Yes or no. And then ask for guest comments at the end. And it's nice to warn them at the start that, hey, we're going to ask for guest comments at the end. And I always talk about this one because I went to a meeting in Calgary once. I went in, I sat down, the whole meeting evolved, and I left, and nobody talked to me. And nobody asked me to talk, and nobody talked to me. And I always thought that was unusual, and I always remember that you should ask the guests for comments and let them know what's going on. And then ask them to come back. And I've got all this, yet don't overwhelm them. Well, one of the things, don't get a whole bunch of people on them. If you've got one person that's greeting them and talking to them, just let them talk. We lost someone by having 4 or 5 people talk at once, and it was just too much for the guest. So I got this, all this, and don't overwhelm them, and close the sale. Probably the most important thing, ask them if they would like to join. And some people don't know how to close the sale, but it's this simple. Would you like to join our club? You don't
See,
even have to- Yeah?
we always think that we're pushing them when we do it at the first time
No.
they've been there.
They came to the meeting for a reason. Most people say, would you like to come back next week? All you have to do is, would you like to join our club?
Yeah.
Nothing even more severe than that. Just, would you like to join our club?
Okay.
And it doesn't hurt. You don't be pushy. Just ask once. That's it. Usually the Toastmaster can do that at the end after they give their comments. Well, it'd be nice if you want to join our club. You're welcome.
9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 are people that guests that come usually join. So
Well, they
we
come
do.
for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they don't join, either they're not comfortable with how it runs or they're too young. I don't know. Different reasons.
Yeah.
But would you like to join our club? Very simple line. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be very softly spoken. Would you like to join our club? We'd love to have you as a member. And the other thing is this, you need to know your fees. Because when they say yes, how much is it? You need to know that answer. And we have a prorated sheet, a sheet for each month, what it costs to join.
And that's in US funds or Canadian funds, Lloyd?
Well, we do it in Canadian funds.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do that. Well, no, we just do it in Canadian funds. We set our fee at the start of the year, and that's what it is.
Okay. And then you prorate it as the months go down.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's $12 a month it changes. But do that ahead of time so that,
Right.
you know, when you have, would you like to join our club? And they say, well, how much does it cost? Well, hang on. I got to find the treasurer. Oh, he's not here tonight, but he'll be back next week. You might have lost a sale
Well, right.
because some people might, well, I'll pay you tonight then.
Okay.
Okay. You need to know your fees. What's next year? Oh, then celebrate success. So that's the thing.
Absolutely.
If it works, celebrate success. Something that's missing from my presentation I used to have when it was strictly rural. I changed it a bit because we were going to have some people from Brandon and Portage in. But rural clubs, sometimes we struggle with getting guests because, and I don't know about you guys, but you might belong to 3 or 4 different organizations. And I always said, well, am I trying to find someone for Lions, for Rotary, for Toastmasters, or for Town Council? It's always a little tough. And that was trying to figure out where you're inviting them. Eh?
Right.
So anyway, my presentation in a nutshell, you retain what you have, try to keep as many members as you can so that worksheet there to find out if everybody's happy and what's not making them happy. Renew what you need to, so you may have to make some changes. Renew what you have to, change what you have to, recruit your new membership, reward yourself when your club grows. You get 1 member, repeat the whole thing so you can get 2 and 3 members.
Right.
I have here, oh, question and answer.